Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Love Message. I wanted to film this today because I wanted to share a couple of stories, and it's just so much fun to share them in video form instead of writing them. I have been studying the subject of self-compassion and self-love for a few years now, and I've come across many sources, many great teachers. And the reason I've been studying it is because in my studies of understanding the male brain and the female brain and just the brain in general, the human brain, there are so many instincts that we all have in common. And one of the big instincts that we have in common is most of us default to not being kind to ourselves. When we make a mistake or when we interpret our behavior or somebody else interacting with us, so many of our instincts will go to this place of judging ourselves and just really not defaulting to a place of self-compassion. This is not atypical. Nothing's gone wrong. And so I've been studying the power of self-compassion and working to see if I could start to rewire this in my brain as a default. Now, there are a bunch of instincts going on. Our brain's always going to be kind of searching for danger, which has it look towards the negative. Okay, so that's most people's brains. So there's that going on, and that's also normal. So I've just been practicing and practicing. I wonder if I could, start to be more and more self-compassionate. And so I've been practicing the belief of I choose to love me no matter what. And this is one of the things that I share with my clients all the time. In the weight loss process, in the healing process of whatever you might be healing, when we start from a place of understanding that when we love ourselves through it, that's the way that change actually happens, it really is miraculous. So I wanted to share just a couple of stories. A couple of my clients this week, they have been working on stopping emotional eating. A big reason for one of my clients has to do with interactions and relationships with her son. And so she's really working on helping her brain start to look compassionately at her son. She's also helping her brain and practicing helping her brain, just noticing when her brain wants to go to the negative and helping her brain really look at, how could I just take a notice of what's going on? Just catch the instinct to judge or catch the instinct to not be so kind to myself. And just say, of course, my brain's doing that because that's what human brains do. And how can I be kind to myself in this moment? How can I speak more kindly to myself? How can I speak more kindly to myself and my mind about my son? And this is making all the difference in the world for how she's feeling inside. And then it's also making all the difference in the world for the amount of emotional control that she has within herself. And it's creating so much more peace and freedom for her. And as a result, that's helping her not turn to the food to deal with all of the upset and the emotions that have been there. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is a little breakthrough that I had this week. My brain has always defaulted instinctively to the negative. I used to struggle with big time depression and anxiety many years ago. And I still feel the instinct on a daily basis to default to worst case scenario. Oh, what's gone wrong now? The negative. And I wanted to share just this little breakthrough that I had because I wanted to share that it's possible. It's possible to start to create the habit of being more kind to yourself. And maybe this may or may not resonate for you. That's totally fine. But what if it is possible to start to create more of a habit for your brain to default a little bit more to being kind to yourself? What could that open up for you? When we are kind to ourselves in our thinking, then our brain relaxes. We have more access to that thinking part of our brain instead of getting stuck in the survival and the instinct and the more primitive toddler type of our part of our brain. And when we're kind to ourselves, when we can start to notice that all of the negative that we may default to is normal. I can't tell you every single one of my clients, every single human brain that I meet, it's normal. I love to just normalize that all human brains kind of default to the negative, okay? Nothing's gone wrong. But what if it could be possible to start to get more in the habit, rewire a little bit of our neural pathways to get more in the habit of starting to default to the positive, or default to at least self-compassion. Oh, of course my brain's doing that. That's what human brains do. How can I learn from this? So let me show you a quick little story. Feel a little vulnerable here, and here we go. So Wednesday, I was at an event, or actually a meetup with a new friend, and we got to talking. My cell phone started to buzz quite a bit, and I looked at it and realized that I had made a big mistake with some calendaring with a client, and I immediately went, oh my goodness, what have I done? I've made this big mistake. In the past, my brain would have started to like literally get out the whips and the chains in my mind and like, how could you do this? How could you let this person down? Da, 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 da. You're awful. I mean, literally sometimes it would be like, you're going to hell. How could you do this? This is going to kill everything. Now, I completely owned in my mind, wow, it looks like I made a big mistake. That was the default. My brain, because I've been working on being more kind in my brain when I make mistakes, my brain said, whoa, that's a big mistake. And it made me feel a lot of pressure in my chest. But I had a big breakthrough, because normally I would have like castigated the heck out of myself. And what I was able to do was say, wow, I made a big mistake. I need to fix this. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to love myself through it. And that may or may not resonate for you, but this was a huge breakthrough, because in my body, I just felt pressure of having made a mistake, but I didn't feel the underlying layer of the shame that I normally give myself. And this is really fun, because what I'm learning is possible is we can start to be wiring in more of a habit of being kind to ourselves. We can still own that we made mistakes. We can still feel the pressure of, ooh, but we can also start to say, wow, I made a mistake. I'm going to fix it best I can, and I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to love myself and love the other person through this. What if that could be possible? Tell me how much more rich that feels than what the brain usually wants to do, which is, oh crap, I made this huge mistake. Oh, shame, 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 shame. I don't think that the instinct for shame, I don't know that it ever goes away. It'll be fun to play with it, see if it does, but I don't know that it really does. But what if it could get easier? What if we could just start to say, wow, I made this big mistake, or this small mistake. I own it. We let ourselves feel the pressure of making the mistake, and then just say, I'm going to love myself through this, and I'm going to love this other person through it. I'm going to fix it as best I can, and I'm going to move on. It was just so yummy. I couldn't believe that my brain defaulted to, oh, I made a mistake, and how can I be kind to myself? I want to offer you that as an option with whatever change you are trying to make, with whatever part of the weight loss process you might be in, or with, if you're not even in the weight loss process, with whatever part of any relationship healing that you're doing, or any relationship with yourself healing that you're doing, relationship with your body healing that you're doing. What if it could be possible to ask ourselves and talk to ourselves like, I made a mistake, or I didn't live up to a value that I had. I own it. I'm going to fix it. I'm not going to avoid it. And I'm not going to add a layer of shame to it. I'm going to move on. And I'm going to say, how can I love me and love others in this process? And that's my love on you message for today. Have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and reach out to me if you have any questions, if you'd like any more support with healing your relationship with your body, with your mind, with your relationships, and with food. Have a great day.